All right, you are welcome to my YouTube channel at SignalLord. All right, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video, and I'm very sure our audio is very, very good. So I think I'll just give some few minutes for my top fans to come live. All right, so just few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes thereabouts. All right. Today we'll be looking at how to trade PPI. Everybody knows PPI. Some people they don't know, but if you are a trader, it is expected that you know what PPI is all about. And for today's live session, we are going to be looking at what PPI is all about and how you can just easily get to trade PPI. One of the major fundamental that we have, most especially when it comes to trading, PPI is also part of it, but then there's PPI and also there is CPI. There's PPI and there's CPI. All right, so we are quickly going to look at the difference between PPI, also the difference between PPI and CPI. All right, difference between PPI and CPI. All right, so you can just drop a like on the video. Okay, and don't forget to share the video with every other traders that you know. Right. So, in the next 30 minutes, we'll just quickly look at that together. We'll just quickly do that. Okay. All right. So don't forget, just give a like to the video. Yeah. So good to see you. Okay. You are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. All right, so while we are just waiting for the few minutes, let's quickly look at what the chart is saying, and let's see what the chart is saying. Okay, we'll look at what is happening on the chart. Are we to buy or are we to sell? So if we are buying, where should we start buying from? And if we are selling, where should we start selling from? Okay, so those are the things we are going to be looking at. Those are the things we'll be discussing. All right. So we'll be looking at what to buy, what to sell, where to buy, and also where to sell. All right. So remember to share this video. Ensure that people are watching live. So I'm trying to set up my system so that I can get all the possible entries, all the possible entry prices rather. All the possible entry prices. Okay. So just few minutes. All right, we are getting there. All right, let's see. Let me open my trading platform. So right now, I think we are back. Okay, so just hold on a bit. Right, so right now we have dollar. Dollar is one of the major instruments that we get to trade, most especially when it comes to buying and selling. And I know everybody tends to look out to make profit from dollar trading. But then you need to understand, when it comes to dollar is one instrument that you don't want to joke with, okay? You don't want to joke with it. So right now, dollar is a bit strong. And since dollar is a bit strong, the best thing for us to do is to be looking out to either buy dollar or we are looking out to sell dollar. So for today, the news can be good and the news can be bad. The news can be good and the news can be bad. So you just need to prepare yourself for what will most likely happen for today. So I'm actually going to be starting with GBP USD. GBP USD. If you want to talk about GBP USD, that's one instrument that some people usually run away from. Okay, so I'm not expecting you to run from GBP USD, right? But some people usually run from it. So now, what is CPI? Because sometimes people don't know what they are trading. They are just after the profit making. And I used to tell clients, no, it's wrong. You are expected to know what you are trading. You can't just enter the market without having an idea of what to buy or what to sell. It doesn't make sense, right? And you cannot just scroll to the market except you want to go and price what how much that particular asset is, except you want to go and price. But if not, if you are not pricing in the market, that means you are going there to either buy or to look out for what to sell. All right. Now, this afternoon by 1:30, we're expecting PPI to be released. PPI to be released. Then I've gotten so many questions about what PPI is all about. Somebody has asked me that, okay, but there's CPI, so what is CPI? And at the same time, there's PPI, what is PPI? Now, today, we are going to be doing justice to that so that you understand what PPI is all about. So stay tuned with me this afternoon. So PPI, basically, the full meaning of PPI is Producer's Price Index. That is the full meaning of PPI, Producer's Price Index. Now, somebody will say, okay, when you say Producer's Price Index, what does it mean? What does it mean? Okay, so Producer's Price Index is, for a layman, Producer's Price Index is just, so for a layman, you might not understand what PPI is all about. A layman might not understand. But then, when we say PPI is Producer's Price Index, now basically it is the average change in the selling prices that domestic producers receive for their goods and services over time. Now, PPI, from the full meaning interpretation, is Producer's Price Index. It helps us to understand how cost of production, how cost of production is before the final consumer gets a particular goods or a particular services. And then basically PPI is an inflation measuring data, which means that you can use PPI to measure if there is inflation in the market. You can use PPI to know whether the cost of production is rising or the cost of production is falling. And basically, this data is basically released for different economies, but for today, by 1:30, we are expecting this data to come out for the US dollar. Okay, we expect it to come out for US dollar. Now, since I've talked about what PPI is all about, remember PPI means Producer's Price Index, and also it is an indicator that you can use to measure if there is inflation in the market. Also, it tells us to know what the cost of production is before the goods gets to the final consumer. Now, what is the difference between PPI and CPI? I know you are asking me that question currently. what is the difference between PPI, what's the difference between CPI. Now, the difference is very simple. PPI is Producer's Price Index and CPI is Consumer's Price Index. So PPI, which helps us to measure, right, the change in the price from the producer, and CPI, which is Consumer's Price Index, helps us to measure the change in price for the consumer. So there is a producer and there is a consumer. So PPI, Producer's Price Index, which measures cost of change from the producer, and then CPI, which is Consumer's Price Index, which helps us to measure the cost of change, with the consumer. Now, this is it. There are so many things affiliated with PPI, all right, which I believe in the next video we are going to be doing. We'll be talking about risk management, because one of the key factor traders are missing out in this market is risk management. Most traders don't know how to manage their risk. And if you know how to manage your risk, there is no way you cannot become a profitable trader. I used to say it boldly and, affirmatively that over the years, for over 2 years, I've not been able to lose any account, whether it is my account or my family's account or my brother's account, But then I've been consistent over the years, whereby I've been able to maintain, nothing short of my 10% targets in a monthly basis. Okay, 10% targets in a monthly basis. Now, let's quickly talk about why PPI is very important, because tomorrow we'll be looking out for the data for CPI, but for today we are looking for PPI for today. All right, why it matters is, number one, it is an inflation indicator. So if there's high data report for PPI, it tells us to know that there is higher production costs, okay, which may lead to higher CPI, which means what affects PPI actually affects CPI. Okay, increase in the cost of production. Also, there will be increase in the price of that goods that the consumer will buy. All right, so you can see that the two of them, they work hand in hand. And why PPI also matters is for the fact that it helps the central bank in monetary policy decision. Okay, so the Federal Reserve and the other central banks, because PPI is a news data that can come out for USD, it can come out for AUD, which is Australian dollar, it can come out for New Zealand dollar. Now we are talking about different economies now. And the data will be released in less than 2 minutes. In less than 2 minutes, we'll be seeing the result, the data report for PPI in less than 2 minutes. So the previous data for the core PPI that we have is 0.9% and expectation is 0.3%. And then for the PPI, which is month over month, previous data was 0.9% and expectation 0.3%. So in less than 1 minute now, the news will be out, which will now determine whether we should buy or we should sell. So dependent on, okay, will it be good for dollar or will it be bad for dollar? So right now, we are waiting to see the outcome of this result. Right, so stay tuned, ensure not to go anywhere, ensure to stay tuned, just focus. When you hear the result of the news, you can now decide to go and buy or you can decide to go and sell. So less than 30 seconds now, the news will be out. So right now, what is happening on USD JPY? Well, USD JPY is trying to actually find its way up. It has actually been raging. So in less than 10 seconds now, okay, the countdown is there. So get ready, 3, 2, 1, and all right, the CPI data came out a bit mixed. All right, so I'm trying to refresh this data. So USD JPY has started going down. USD started going down, and then where's GBP USD? Okay, our order has triggered. Not yet, it has not closed. So, but the trade is still running. So well, the data is still pending. I'm using Forex Factory. That's the error with Forex Factory. Forex Factory will always keep you waiting. Okay, now it's out. Wow. All right, so the data came out bad for dollar. It is bad for dollar, so automatically you have to look out to sell dollar. But let me just quickly refresh. This is my site here. But dollar is still a bit stronger. Dollar is a bit stronger. So regardless of the outcome of the news, dollar retains its strength. Dollar retains its strength. So I'll just tell them to close out the ones that are in profit. Close all profitable trade. Close the buy trade. All right, so now the outcome of the news, price for USD JPY, the price spiked down and is about going back up. And for GBP USD, it spiked up almost close to our take profits, but then it started retracing. So we should expect that price will continue to do what it has been doing. So the PPI didn't really move the market, which is not a problem. And tomorrow being Thursday, 11th of September 2025, we are expecting CPI data by 1:30 p.m. tomorrow. So you can decide to join us tomorrow to trade CPI together. Don't forget, it is when a trader is disciplined, that's when the trader can become consistent. And when you are consistent, success is not far from you, right? Thank you for joining this live session. Look out for our next live session. Don't forget, subscribe to my channel, and also you can share this video with other traders. I hope you have gained some insight with PPI, today. All right. Thank you so much. See you guys in my next video.